Kakadu National Park is World Heritage listed area in Australia's tropical north. When I close my eyes, I see pictures of crocodiles, rocky mountains and waterfalls in a very remote and pristine land. Planning the trip made me realize that there are a lot more surprises to be discovered. Just to name a few: wetlands, hot springs, swim holes, gorges. I was so excited even before the trip started. Visiting Kakadu, you need to fly to Darwin and drive 250 kilometers east of the capital city. We have spared a day only for Darwin as I want to spend the rest of the days exploring nature. Although cities don't capture my heart anymore, Darwin is worth a stop to enjoy the city beaches, museums and good food. May to November is dry season in Kakadu. Being much cooler and drier, the dry season is the best time for visitors. In the wet season, besides the hot and humid weather, many areas of the national park are closed due to flooding. Our visit took place in August, which is right in the middle of the dry season. Visiting Kakadu and surrounds takes a lot of planning. If you want to see Kakadu in depth, you'll need to put your adventurer hat on, hire a four-wheel drive and be prepared to hike some difficult terrains. Also be mindful that four-wheel driving is a skill. What I'm showing here is only scratching the surface. If the road condition is rough, I may not be able to drive it even with the right car. Doing a bit of homework before the trip will pay off as you'll need to be fully prepared and aware of what is needed for the places you want to visit. Kakadu can be visited with a normal car, but you'll be missing out on many spectacular places that are only accessible with a four-wheel drive. As I was traveling with Mum, I was picking the spots that are not too long or with too difficult terrains. Although at most places you'll still need to be prepared to do a bit of walking to reach the waterfalls or the swim holes. Making sure that you have the right shoes on, plenty of sunscreen and water is vital. I also always had my bikinis on so I can jump in for a swim to cool down and enjoy the crystal clear waters. If you're after easy access, waterfalls at the Litchfield National Park are probably the easiest. You can park the car and rock up in your flip-flops and jump into the pool. You may have noticed that I have not covered a couple of the really famous spots, such as the Jim Jim Falls and the Twin Falls. Unfortunately, they were closed for cultural reasons at the time of our visit. After a few days of exploring Kakadu and surrounds, visiting Katherine Gorge seems relatively relaxing. The 23-million-year-old Katherine Gorge is a deep gorge carved through ancient sandstone by the Katherine River and a must-see when you travel to the top end. Mum made it to the top of the gorge with me to enjoy the beautiful sunset. The colors are just amazing and I was really tempted to come back in the middle of the night to do some astrophotography. According to my photo pill app, the Milky Way will be right behind the gorge at 2 a.m. in the morning. Spoiler alert, this didn't eventually happen, as I was sound asleep at the time. The cruise tour taking you down the gorge is a very popular activity. The dinner cruise looked very attractive, but was fully booked out. In the dry season, booking the tours in advance is highly recommended, as they do sell out quite fast. We went on this 2-hour cruise to witness the first 2 gorges of the 13 gorges. We have learned that salties can travel from the sea and get into the Gorge River. And we have witnessed people swimming in the river despite the crocodile risks. From Katherine, there are several hot springs nearby. Katherine Hot Springs is right in the town centre. It gets quite busy with the locals as well as the tourists, as it is easily accessible. With just an hour's drive south of the Katherine Township, you'll find Elsie National Park with Bitter Springs and Mataranka thermal pools. And my favourite is Bitter Springs. These hot springs here are no doubt the most beautiful hot springs I have come across so far in my travels. And we certainly made sure that we have had a good soak in every single one of them. This is another good reason to visit the Northern Territory in the dry season, as hot springs are closed during wet seasons because of flooding. The last bit of our trip was concluded beautifully with trips to the wetlands. This is one thing that fell off my radar during my trip planning. I didn't expect there to be such an abundance of bird life in the Northern Territory. We expected to see crocodiles on these wetland cruises, but were amazed with the bird life that unfolded in front of us.
It's a honeybee eater.
I wanted to kick myself when we went on a wetland cruise and saw the beautiful kingfisher, honey eaters, and jabiru. The bird species is also quite similar to what I saw in Africa. I hated myself for leaving my longlands at home. In 9 days, we captured some highlights of Kakadu and surrounds. The diversity of the beauty of this remote land has left a deep impression on us. I'm blown away by what the Northern Territory has to offer and will love to come back again to explore deeper into the wild.